Food packaging from a pro. Here are 5 ways that you can save money, time, and heartache when planning your next food packaging print job. If you're a small-scale food producer, I know you're up against the big food Goliath in grocery. As a professional designer, my job is to create strategic packaging that sells a brand by telling its story in an authentic way to attract the right consumers. Here's the proof. I've been building food and farm brands for over a decade while designing CFIA-compliant food packaging. And I'm not just shooting from the hip. I built and sold successfully 2 food businesses before I was 30. And graduating from the Food Business School of Hard Knocks has helped me be a better designer. Let me share 5 cost-saving insights with you. Here's number 1. Knowing your consumer. Understanding who's buying your product. Just because you're making food doesn't mean that everybody is your consumer. You're already applying filters to your offering by making decisions about your ingredients, your ethics, maybe the way that you manage your soil, the flavor profiles of your product. Even the color of your market tent is imprinting on your consumer, right? So doing these things in a meaningful way helps you speak to your people. It helps you filter out who isn't your audience and target who truly is. This translates to cost savings by having clarity around using targeting messaging on your packaging. And if you're at the early stage of your food business, this is a really special time. If you're directly working face-to-face with your clients on a regular basis, like at a farmer's market, you get these insights that you don't get as your food business grows. So as your business becomes bigger, you get further and further away from your clients. But in this early stages, you should be observing and documenting and just considering the insights of who is actually attracted to your product and why they're buying it. So use this time wisely. If you're already in the trenches and you can describe exactly who your target and ideal customer is, then you're in a great place as we move into insight number 2. Leaning into your brand. Okay, the essence of your brand comes from answering this question. What do you do? What makes it unique? And who do you make it for? And as you start to cultivate a way to say and think about your offering using that formation of language, which is a value proposition or an elevator pitch, it actually helps you apply structure to your brand voice. Let's get this out of the way. Branding is not a logo. Branding is a system that presents your business to the world in a crafted and strategic manner. It is the voice, the feels, the personification, the colors, the fonts, the supporting graphics, and the logos. And they all play a role in building the messaging that is your brand identity. At the onset of your food business, if you're at startup phases, you don't need a fully developed, crafted brand strategy, but it will help your brand feel more authentic if you have alignment across all of the touch points for your client interactions. Alignment is mindful implementation and consistency. It can be a check and balance that you can work within. It can even help you make decisions in your business. Without brand awareness, you're more likely to end up grabbing at trends and being distracted by what other people are doing, changing your fonts and colors endlessly as they cross your path. You'll be more susceptible to all of the things that sparkle. This only causes confusion for your clients. So having created brand boundaries will support your packaging design direction. Remember, your packaging is the physical voice of your business on store shelves, speaking on your behalf when you're not there. So let's make sure that it's saying exactly what it needs to say to exactly who you want to say it to. Let's jump right into insight number 3, packaging materials. There are a million different materials you can use to package your food product, and choosing the right one is no simple task. First and foremost, food safety, right? If you see something cute on Alibaba, is it even intended for food products? Is it truly food safe? Also, does the packaging protect your product in the way your product needs to be protected? That looks different for every product. Some products need to be airtight. Some products need to be moisture resistant. You may have a product that needs to withstand freezing or hot filling and work well in thawing scenarios. Many food and beverage businesses are looking for eco-friendly options. You might be considering packaging materials that are compostable, recyclable, or reusable, but it's important to understand what the word compostable means. Is it truly compostable in a consumer's backyard, or does it need to be in a hot pile in an industrial compost facility? Is it recyclable everywhere or just in some areas? Is it reusable? Do people want to reuse the package? Is it cute? Is it functional? Is it a nice size? Is it actually going to have some length as a reusable item for them? The waters of sustainable packaging are murky. They're really subject to greenwashing also. So you need to make material decisions based on the best scenario for your ethics, your budget, and your region. And there's no clear right or wrong answer here. But taking the time to speak to many printers and suppliers and asking for material samples from multiple manufacturers is exactly what you should be doing right now. Most importantly, test your actual product in these actual materials, in the scenario that they're going to live in retail. Before you're ready for retail, you need to answer some key questions that will directly impact your packaging design. First of all, how much space is required for best before dating or batch coding? And how are you applying that information to your packaging? What materials are we printing on? Are we applying labels to existing stock bags, or are we doing a fully designed custom package from the ground up? Are you printing labels in-house? If so, are they smudging, right? Are they smudging in the freezer? Are you looking at this? Do they smudge in the fridge? Does condensation affect adhesion? So where in the process of production are you putting the labels on? And is it interacting with that stage of production? These are the kind of issues we definitely want to uncover before investing time in printing and large production runs and before introducing it to retail. So real world testing scenarios will save you lots of money. Let's talk about another cost savings. Insight number 4, compliance. Following compliance and planning for compliance from the onset will save you money in the long run. Compliance should not be an after sight. It should be thought of at the foundation of your design process. Here's some things I want you to think about before moving into design. Do you have complete and accurate nutritional facts tables for each of your specific products? Are you working with a food scientist, or are you using an online nutritional software application to come up with those NFTs? Please tell me you are not just using your competitors' nutritional facts tables and slapping it on. We do not recommend that. That is definitely not compliant. Do you understand Canada's new front of panel requirements and whether your product is required to have one or not? These are new since 2026. They're ugly and they're pretty large and they need to be on the front panel of your product. So you need to know that now if you're required to have one or not. Also, what claims do you want to make on your packaging? Are you allowed to say them? How exactly do we have to word them? And are you required to have a certification to support the claim? If so, are you certified? And do you have the proper print-ready logos for the certifiers that will need to accompany the claim on your package? None of these are optional details. These are all required or explicitly not allowed. And so this is where leaning into a professional can really help. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency, it is a complex beast. That website is dense, it's highly technical, it will send you in circles, often page after page after page, looping and never quite getting the answer that you need, and there's nobody there to answer your questions directly. Yet, you are required to be 100% compliant. Some of those regulations change at a whim throughout the year. This is a place where clarity is really hard earned, honestly. Here are some added areas of compliance you need to think about because we need to design around. So French language, right? In Canada, we are required to have bilingual packaging. Based on your sales model and distribution model, that will help us identify how we will be compliant. Then we have net weight declarations. So if your product isn't the exact same weight every single time, we need to think about how we're formulating the weight declaration. Also allergens. What allergens are in your product, but also what allergens are in the facility where you make your product. And then the nutritional fact table, there are different sizes and formats available based on the surface area of your package. All of these decisions directly impact the final design in your packaging. So yes, you can jump into an AI generator tool, make something beautiful and feel like you're making progress, but packaging is far more than a pretty picture, right? It needs to be a careful balance of food safety, regulation, compliance, production realities, and messaging. It needs to speak to your audience. It needs to reflect your brand voice, right? And perform at a retail level. As I've come to learn, AI agents do not get this right. In fact, they can be wildly inaccurate about food packaging actual realities, as well as spelling the word strawberry. So if you want a real human with lived experience on your side, then enter the pros. And insight number 5, DIY versus working with a professional. At some point in your journey, you're about to make a real investment in packaging materials, custom printing, minimum order quantities, maybe pallets of product, ship times, long print turnarounds. This is a moment when you really want to get it right. And yeah, you can DIY your way through a lot of this, especially at the farmer's market stage. But it's important to understand that your retail opportunities will be directly affected by the quality and the accuracy of your DIY work. Here's something I've seen over and over again. Producer makes a label, prints it online, slaps it on a product, runs to the local grocery store, and if the buyer will grant you an audience there, you hand your product over to the buyer, ready for them to sell 1 million units, and instead they immediately flag a compliance issue. Maybe your barcode has been skewed or is too small and they know it's not going to scan. Maybe you're missing one of these critical elements and they know they can't sell that product without it. These mistakes are costly, they're embarrassing, and they're wasteful. If you're building a food business, I will assume that you are passionate about food. You don't also have to be passionate about accounting, right? You can hire an accountant. Same goes for working with a professional designer. Food business operators need to know when to leverage their expertise, and packaging is one of those make or break it moments. This is the reason I've put all of this together. In fact, I want you to succeed. I want more small and medium-sized food businesses to thrive in this country. I want real people making real food because it matters. And I don't want to live in a future of lab-grown food mass-produced by multinationals. That is not the future I'm imagining for myself. I want your investment in packaging to be sound. So I've created a free packaging readiness checklist to help you find clarity before you hit print on your next investment. You can find it on my website. It's free and it's linked below. If you found some value here, please like and follow along, comment, maybe let me know where you're at in your food packaging journey. I'd love to be kept motivated to produce more videos and share my 3 decades of food business and food business packaging experience with you. Thanks so much.